Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Etches in 30K Media. It's been a while since I did a video on my TSX, but in this particular video I wanted to focus on the 190,000 mile service. My car is about to hit 190,000 miles, so with that being said, I did a lot of maintenance on the car. A couple things actually went bad, so I had to take the time out to actually fix those things. I wanted to share it with you guys so you guys know what to expect if you're going to look for a TSX with about 160, 170,000 miles or higher. Don't be afraid to buy a high mileage car as long as it's been well maintained. So hopefully this video will give you guys some more, confidence going forward to make your decision. So I wanted to focus on a couple of components that went bad on this car. And first and foremost, I wanted to focus on the suspension components. So the shocks and struts on this car are actually still OEM. They have not been changed or replaced. So I think just kind of keep an eye out for that. Going forward, you're actually going to have to replace those as they start to wear and tear. A good test is actually kind of push down on the trunk, and if the car kind of goes up and down or is bouncy, then you know your struts are about to go out. Another sign is that if you jack the car up and you look underneath, you'll see kind of seepage or kind of moisture, and that means that the strut is leaking. So keep an eye out for that. On this car, I actually replaced the compliance bushings. Those are the ones that tend to go bad first. So I replaced both of those. They're actually cracked. And I actually replaced the wheel bearings and the hubs. They're all the way around, all four hubs and wheel bearings. It's pretty expensive to do, especially if you're going with OEM parts. So I think it costs you about $700-ish to do, including labor. So it's a big maintenance service, and keeping in mind, if you guys do that, your car will be good for a couple of years. Some of the common symptoms of, wheel bearings going out are when you drive the car, you'll hear kind of a squeaky noise from the interior. And also, when you kind of wobble the wheel back and forth, there's a lot of play. So if you do that, you'll know for sure that your wheel bearings are going out. Second component I want to focus on was a transmission component. And the clutch and the flywheel on this car are actually still OEM, but I think the clutch slave cylinder is actually going out. So on a hill, I notice that when I accelerate sometimes, it makes a screech noise. And I think that's because the CSC is actually going bad. So keep your eyes out for that. This is a 6-speed manual transmission, so you're going to have to replace the clutch and the flywheel at some point. So keep in mind for that service. This car is still running the OEM equipment, so I think I can probably ride it for another about 1.5 years before I actually have to replace that. Third component I want to focus on was the actual engine, the engine components. So a couple things actually went bad on this car while I was driving. I don't think it has anything to do with the reliability of Honda or Acura. It's more of minor wear and tear. So as I was driving, I noticed that my dash lights came on, my engine light came on, my CL came on, and then my blinker started flashing. So without any kind of notice, my alternator actually went out. It took a crap on me. So the car actually almost died on the street. I barely got it home with when the alternator dies, your car doesn't have power to drive. It loses power. So I was actually coasting all the way home to the driveway. Well, I had to manually push the car up to this driveway and order the alternator and replace it. Keep in mind that when you do the alternator, you're going to have to replace the serpentine belt as well. So the serpentine belt, you're going to need a serpentine tool to actually pull it on the pulley to release the tension to replace it. It's good to have two people because it's really hard to do with one. I'll post a diagram right here for you guys to see on what the serpentine layout should look like. It's pretty simple. Basic tools will get the job done for you. Also, starter on this car is still OEM, but I think that it's going bad because the crank is starting to get weaker and weaker. So when you start it up, it's not as strong as before. And I replaced the starter on my 240SX and also my parents' Honda Civic. If you guys don't remember back then in previous videos, it should start really strong every time, but this car is actually getting weak. So I should do that before it hits about 195,000 miles because at the point it might die on me anytime. I don't want that to happen. So make sure you do all those things. Also, I did a valve adjustment and replaced the valve cover gasket and the spark plug tube seals. That for sure needs to be done because at such a high mileage car, especially on Honda engines, the valves will get loose, especially on the intake side. So make sure you do that. A lot of tutorials on YouTube and on the forums that show you how to do it. If you're familiar with doing it on your previous cars or you've had Hondas before, it's the same thing. Make sure you follow the right firing order and make sure you're on the right cylinder. 1342 is the firing order for all 4-cylinder engines, so make sure you follow that. So I guess those are some of the major things that I had to do on this TSX. It's approaching 190,000 miles. If you guys are purchasing a TSX that's approaching that mileage, make sure some of those things are already done. They're just really basically minor wear and tear items. And a question I wanted to propose for you guys, and also I wanted to ask myself was, is it worth keeping a car with such high mileage? And I think the answer to that is, it really depends on what you want out of the car, you know? For me, having 3 stick shift cars isn't really convenient. And I actually really thought about selling this TSX, to be honest, to get an automatic car. But given the amount of money that I spent doing all the maintenance items on it, I think it'll be better off keeping the car because it's driving great, you know? I haven't had any major issues with it. Compression is still good. And I mean, I'm not gonna get much out of it anyway, you know? I mean, if I look at Kelley Blue Book, it's worth $3,000 to $4,000. So I think you really ask yourself, if you're pondering the fact of selling it, you know, what are you gonna get out of it? What are you gonna get for it? And, you know, if you spent so much money doing maintenance, you might as well just keep it and drive it until it actually isn't drivable anymore. So I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. It's more focused on, you know, approaching the 200,000 mile on this car. So I think I did a video a while back on the review of this car. I did a review and, you know, like I replaced the shifter cable bushing and the shifter cable. So I think this video, I did a lot more things to the car. So I think I'll help you guys out for sure. So yeah, why don't we take a quick little drive. The car still drives great as if it was driving from the first day that I bought it. So I think I wanted to give you guys a little quick feel of the car and how everything is driving. So if you guys have any questions or comments or are looking for a TSX or wanted to know anything, please post a comment below and I'll definitely subscribe. I'm sorry, not subscribe. I'll definitely take the time out to reply to you guys. And for those of you guys that are new, please take the time out to subscribe to this channel and I'll try to do more videos. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day, drive safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace. Hey guys, so we're back in the car. You know what, to be very honest, nothing has changed since the last time that I've driven this car until now. Last time I drove it, I think it had about 150 something thousand miles on it. Now it has almost 190,000 miles, and to be honest, the car still drives the same as it did back then when I first bought it. And I've read that on a lot of forums and some other TSX channels that there's people out there that have bought this car on the first day and driven it, and 200,000 miles later it's been the same still. And I think a lot of those guys took really good care of their cars, and I think the car in return took care of you. So I mean, aside from the regular maintenance items, I think buying a high mileage TSX is definitely something that you should consider, because a lot of people out there are kind of afraid that, you know, like the car is high mileage and, you know, they might break down, this and that. But you have to keep in mind, guys, that when you buy a car, you're gonna have to like take care of it. It's like a kid, you know, or like a pet, like a dog. You can't just buy the car and then expect it to like run good forever. You know, you're gonna have to do some stuff to it. A lot of people like buy the car, they drive it, they don't do any kind of maintenance on it. They're like, oh, my car has problems, it's not reliable. But, you know, you gotta pay your dues. You know, you gotta like put in the effort. But we're just gonna take a quick little drive, just kind of give you guys a little feel of the car. And I think the car still drives great. After the bushings were replaced and I did the clutch fluid and got a new alternator, the car is really good. Like, I haven't even had it to like recharge the AC, which I think has never been recharged. I might be running low, I haven't checked it, but yeah, AC's been great, you know. And it's been pretty hot lately here in LA. It's about between 90 and 95 degrees, and that's hot for winter. But the car's been great. So if I do decide to, like, you know, keep the car and drive it a little longer, it might hit to like, I guess 230, 240, 240,000 miles. So I think at that point I'll probably keep doing videos and tell you guys what I did. But to be very honest, guys, the only major things that I did was I replaced the OEM shifter cable. I replaced the hubs. I replaced the bearings. Replaced the alternator. Replaced the serpentine belt. And that's it. I think the next major thing on the list is probably going to be the clutch, the flywheel, and probably the radiator and the hoses. I think those are the two big things. You can't also forget the thermostat housing and the thermostat as well. But that's I mean, it's minor here and there, but, you know, it all adds up. I think if I added up all the costs of the maintenance I've done to this car, it's probably like 40% of what the car's value is worth. And I think, honestly, if I sold the car right now, if I was lucky, I'd probably only get like 3 or like 3,500, maybe $4,000 at most for the car. And I don't know about other TSXs out there on Craigslist, but I take really good care of my car, so I think this is a question that I've been thinking about. But like I mentioned, you know, I just feel like having 3 stick shift cars living in Los Angeles is pretty tough. I think, you know, you don't really know exactly, you know, when you're gonna need an automatic car. You know, like there's a couple times when I play tennis and like my leg is sore, my knee is hurting, and it's like I get in the car and I'm like, oh, traffic, and I'm shifting back and forth, and it's like, oh man, my knee's all sore. I know you guys are probably like, oh, stop whining, stop complaining, but honestly, it is really nice to drive an automatic car, to be very honest with you guys. I think you just want to kick back, relax, listen to some music, and just chill. I think that's really cool. So I think my next car, for sure, is going to be an automatic. I don't know what I'm going to get yet. And I don't know if I'm going to keep this car for another 2 or 3 more years, but if I decide to sell it, you know, you guys will be definitely, you guys will know for sure. I'm probably going to do the same thing I did with my RSX, post a sale up on YouTube, create a pretty detailed sales post. So, but we'll see. I've been really happy with the car. You know, I just like waxed it like a couple days ago, and I just vacuumed the car, so it feels really good to drive it, and it smells good too. But other than that, I mean, the car's been great, guys, and I hope you guys like, you know, continue to take care of your cars. But yeah, this is a 2005 Acura TSX with 190,000 miles. 6-speed manual transmission, still on the OEM clutch, OEM radiator, and OEM shocks and struts. See how far we can take this car, alright? Well, please leave a comment, question, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely take the time out to reply. Have a good one, guys. Talk to you guys all soon. Peace.